This is the first of 3 videos on the 3 volumes of Karl Marx's Capital, covering the main themes and lines of argument. In this video, I discuss Volume 1, the only volume that Marx completed during his lifetime. Volume 1 was first published in 1867. Here's how it starts. The wealth of societies in which the capitalist mode of production prevails appears as an immense collection of commodities. The individual commodity appears as its elementary form. Our investigation therefore begins with the analysis of the commodity. A commodity, Marx argues, combines 2 characteristics. It must first of all be useful. It must fulfill a human need. It must secondly be exchangeable for another commodity of equal value. A man goes to the market with 20 yards of linen, Marx writes. He sells the linen, and with the money he buys a Bible. The Bible seller in turn buys a bottle of brandy. The linen seller, the Bible seller, the brandy seller each get an equivalent in value for what they sell. But when the capitalist goes to the market, Marx observes, something else happens. The capitalist first appears as a buyer, not a seller. He or she buys the worker's capacity for labor and means of production, such as raw materials, machinery, and buildings. With the newly purchased labor power and means of production, she or he produces new commodities. When these commodities are sold, the capitalist ends up with more money than he or she started with. The difference between the money originally spent by the capitalist and the money the capitalist realizes when she or he sells the commodities, Marx calls surplus value. Where does this surplus value come from? Marx devotes the majority of Volume 1 to this question. Surplus value, Marx argues, is produced by the workers during production because some of the labor the workers perform is unpaid. The new commodities produced by the workers, which includes this surplus value, are appropriated by the capitalist, who sells them and turns them back into money. The wage-labor relationship between worker and capitalist is therefore one based on exploitation, a relationship concealed by the apparent fair and equal exchange of labor for a wage. Marx argues that this relationship of exploitation was made possible by the violence of original or primitive accumulation from the 15th century on. This resulted in the dissolution of the feudal system and its replacement in the countryside by capitalist farming. Much of the peasantry were forced off the land, congregating in the growing towns and cities. Lacking access to land and means of production, they formed the newly emergent class of wage laborers. I hope you found this brief overview useful. You can also check out my overviews of volumes 2 and 3 to see how Marx developed his overall argument.